Okay. Yo, boys. It's Keen Dog. I'm here with Pratik. This is obviously an emergency podcast. I'm sitting erect in my bed. That's the last time I'll use erect to describe anything I'm doing. Um, Pratik, you look like you need to shave. It's really late at night. We've put DMs out to the boys to just call into the show because the fact that Trump has coronavirus seems like kind of inevitable, but also it's just like it's too much. I just don't even know how to deal with this. Pratik and I are we strategizing or are we reacting? I don't know what we do. I just sold a ton of shares. It felt good. It feels bad to having a president that has the Ronies. Um, uh, People, the buck stops nearby is texting me that Zoltar made this up to pump his shitty Trump bets. Pratik, this is an emergency podcast. I gotta stop talking. What the fuck is going on, dude? Trump has the coronavirus. Oh, and I have a Modelo, by the way. Oh, and we need to get this in one take because we don't have time to edit it. So, like, no pressure, bro. And you really need to shave and get a haircut.
Um, well, I think the immediate question is, will Trump stay in the race? The markets are apparently having doubts. Mike Pence, the odds of him winning are at 8%. The odds of him
Dude, I'm
run.
already so bored. Trump has the coronavirus.
Will Pence run? That's now up to 16%. What happened?
I don't know. That was just so funny. Oh shit. Guys, we've got our flight surgeon coming on. This is Lucas. He's Taloflex. He tweets the boys sometimes. Do you want to Pratik, should we ask our flight surgeon if Trump's gonna die?
Yeah, have him come on.
All right. Yo, that's
Hey, can you
Lucas.
guys hear me?
Holy shit. Yo, Pratik, do you know the feeling when you finally meet one of the boys who you just like chirp on Twitter all the time? And like this is the first time we've ever met. Lucas, you also go by Talofex, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's my handle from way back.
From back in the day. We've introduced you as our flight surgeon because that sounds like a really awesome like Air Force military thing.
It
But
does. Also totally untrue.
wait, but come on, this is fake news. You're supposed to build yourself up. Politics, entertainment, take credit, you know?
Yeah.
Wait, so can we establish your credentials before we get into this podcast? By the way, we've put the flag up for all the boys to come join, so you might get interrupted. Um, you are certified as an MD in how many states?
I'm an MD in the state of Washington, and I think technically maybe Missouri, where I did med school.
Um, are you going to disclose where you did med school, or are we just going to leave it at that?
We can say it was Washington University in St. Louis.
Oh, you're just flexing, dude. The Taliflex is flexing with that Wash U thing. Um,
It was a decent school.
it still is a decent school. Wait, is Trump going to die?
So basically, the big question everybody wants to ask when they have a specific situation like this is what is the likelihood he will die, knowing the prior fact that
Are we really having this conversation?
that he has COVID? Yeah. Well, so the question doesn't really have an answer because to establish the true fatality rate for someone with COVID, you have to know how many cases of COVID led to a certain number of deaths. And since America has never had that level of testing, we don't know the answer to that question. We've never taken a group of people and said, we're going to test every single one of you, find out exactly how many people have COVID, and watch how many people die over the next year or whatever.
Bro, like, this is not Sanjay Gupta shit. Like, tell me what a 70-year-old fat man with all the money in the world and some really expensive doctors can do.
I knew you'd want the simple, straight answer. I was pulling up some CDC charts. As best I can tell, a male American of Trump's age is probably looking at, I don't know, a 4-ish% chance of dying.
I mean, what if we assume he has, obesity, heart disease?
Exactly. I was hoping you guys went there. So I pulled up that old letter from his
doc,
which is excellent. It's always worth a reread. And we do know from his private physician, Ronnie Jackson, some of the meds he's taking, which clue us into what's wrong with this guy. Yeah. So So Trump is on a statin, which we know would be that's probably due to high cholesterol. For someone,
Too many McDonald's runs.
Yeah. So we know this guy eats a lot of fast food.
That's true.
Um,
A lot of red meat.
at his age and his weight, he probably has high blood pressure.
Okay. Wait, does that mean I'm going to get blood pressure? Because I'm getting kind of fat too.
It's not helping. The Modelo's or Coronas or whatever are probably also not helping.
Oh, well, they're helping with this election. I'll say that.
So we don't know of any history of like he's had a heart attack or a stroke or anything like that. That would be much more concerning. Diabetes is a huge risk factor. At his weight, he is probably, I would guess, somewhat pre-diabetic at the very least.
This is so dark.
According to Ronnie Jackson, we don't have any clear signs that he's like a full-blown type 2 diabetic.
Okay. Does he have the energy to campaign? Pratik, I feel like you have some like more important things to say.
Oh, well, so he's saying he's going into quarantine. I mean, what does that mean or entail exactly?
I mean, what it should mean is he severely limits any physical contact with really anyone. I mean, I'm sure they'll have people coming in and out with more like what you guys would think of as hazmat suits or whatever that, you know, have high density filters and try to keep people safe. It's not like he's going to be literally hiding in a bomb shelter, but I think this does mean he can't go around giving speeches or being out in public for, I would say, the next 2 weeks at least.
Okay, so I mean, I guess Biden hasn't been running a normal campaign, obviously out of precaution, but I mean, now that Trump is in quarantine, like how much more limited is he than Biden?
I think this is limiting. I think part of Trump's shtick is he's got to be out there, you know, face uncovered by a mask, saying whatever crap pops into his head. And this means that can't happen for several weeks.
Dude, we got several weeks until an election. This is a bumpy road. I feel like I've just been liquidating winners, but like, is that a retard move?
So I tend to leave a lot of orders up on Predictit, just out of the money, you know, and as the volatility of market sort of wiggles them one way or the other, those orders fill. When I logged in tonight, I saw there were like 40 orders that had filled for various state markets, for Trump dropping out,
Yeah,
for Biden dropping out.
like you like ring me up. Like I've never heard anyone happier in my life than you when you found out Trump. Did you just fall asleep on this call, Pratik?
No, I'm here.
Your eyes are shut on the video. I told you we have to do this in one take, bro. We don't have time to edit this. Like you called me like so excited to hear Trump had the coronavirus because you're like, oh, I have like $5,000 in my pocket.
I'm obviously not happy that he has coronavirus. However,
tell me about why you're happy.
Well, I mean, the markets are obviously reacting in a way that suggests that Trump is in trouble, which is what I had been predicting anyway. I mean, I think the first question we have to answer is, what is the likelihood that he'll drop out?
0.
Yeah, I don't see him dropping out unless this makes him severely ill.
Well, what's the likelihood of that?
Gosh, I'd have to pull up like, you know, how many people end up in an ICU. That's obviously a little bit higher than the case fatality rate.
Wait, well, okay, Pratik, you and I were just on the phone, and we were just going through the list of bets. So you just talked me out of selling my Trump losing by more than 280 electoral votes. But like, am I going to be pissed off about that? Like all of those high margin EV, is that what we call electoral votes? I've had one Modelo and this is what's happening. They're all spiking. Like, is this sell time? Like, is this going to come back?
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. So after that debate, I think a lot of people, pretty much everyone acknowledged going into that debate that Biden was the favorite. Now, I think a lot of people thought that the debates would be the moment where Trump can basically turn it around by offering some kind of a message, but more importantly, showing that Biden is too feeble, maybe has dementia or whatever. That obviously didn't happen.
I do need a medical opinion on that too.
Yeah, no. So I mean, the exact opposite happened. That it was a total disaster for Trump, and so against that backdrop, where a lot of people are now really contending with the fact that Trump is a serious underdog, I think that even if we assume the best case scenario that Trump has coronavirus, but he's basically in good shape and on the road to recovery, I mean, as Lucas is saying, it's going to inhibit his ability to run a normal campaign, not to mention govern the country. So,
well, but has he ever run a normal campaign or governed the country?
Well, certainly run a normal campaign. I mean, he's been out there pretty actively, and that's been one of the messages of his campaign, that unlike Biden, who's kind of holed up in his basement, he's out there at rallies and so forth. So, I mean, the point is that there is now going to be a conversation and a question of whether or not Trump ought to continue, as there was after the Billy Bush tapes leaked. So, I mean, Lucas, like, what do you think are kind of the arguments that are going to be on the table on whether or not he should be continuing?
I think people will definitely give him at least a few days to see how symptomatic he becomes. Similar to how, if you remember back, Boris Johnson, I mean,
this is such positive. A boner killer. He didn't die.
Well, but he was, and keep in mind, he was what, like in his 50s, I think, maybe 60.
Oh, we got some of the boys joining.
So he was probably a little bit healthier and a little bit younger. And I mean, look what it did to him. It took him out for several weeks, and he actually had a brief ICU stay.
Wait, the boys are joining. Guys, I literally put something on Twitter with the invite to this. Who's that?
Yeah, I'm in. This is your Lord and Savior Clint Childs.
Okay, Clint, we're talking to a doctor right now about whether or not Trump's gonna die. So put your beer down, and where the hell are you?
Oh, sorry. I'm in the great red state of Arizona.
That's about to be a blue state, bro.
I know it is. I just made a lunch bet with a mutual friend of ours that it's going blue.
Okay, well, this is a shit show podcast, but so is this country. President Childs, if that's what you're going by, you might need to mute yourself while we find out if the real president's
Can you mute me?
Can I mute you? Oh my God, who works for who here?
I got.
Yeah, what a shit show. Sorry, what were we even talking
about?
No,
that's yes. Anyway, I think, after a few days, if it looks like he's doing worse and he needs, an oxygen mask and he needs IV fluids, and he may end up briefly staying at a hospital. And I think if he was transferred to an ICU, that would leak. Somebody will find that out. And I think then the conversation becomes more, even if he recovers from this guy was just in an ICU. Is that reason enough for him to drop out? I think then everything gets a little more serious. If he stays relatively asymptomatic and just feels kind of run down, is isolated, and then pops back in a week and a half, I don't think it becomes a serious conversation. I think then, if anything, there's a slight boost to, hey, he's still in good enough shape. He just beat COVID.
Well, okay, so let's back up. I mean, I guess I have two questions. Number one, he got tested tonight and we found out he has coronavirus. I mean, how long do you think that he's had it for?
I think average onset of symptoms and testing positive and all that is just a few days, not very long.
And then, people going to start chirping about him having an affair with what's her face? Like, is that the inevitable conclusion of this, that it's going to be a salacious story?
Oh my God, I'd be so jealous.
What, to hook up with Trump?
Oh yeah, say hi.
You're on national TV, shit. Whoever you are.
Shoot, that was Kelsey.
Oh. So I missed the very beginning of the debate. Did Biden come close to Trump?
No, I don't think he did.
Like, okay.
They didn't do like the elbow bump or anything. They were pretty far away.
Gotcha.
So with Boris Johnson, like, why was it that from the time he got coronavirus, he had to actually go in the hospital? Like what was the deal there?
A pretty common course that patients will have is they'll feel kind of run down, start to recover a little bit, and then kind of crash. It's not really clear what it is about this virus that's making people follow that exact sequence, but I think that was kind of the story for him. He was maybe kind of bragging he had beaten it mostly, and then had shortness of breath, went to the hospital there, and I think for his case, they probably were being a little bit overly cautious just because of his position as a world leader. But that's going to work against the optics of Trump as well, if they just try to prophylactically get him in a hospital bed.
Pratik, are we buying tonight?
I mean, look,
or are we selling? Like, what are we
so
doing?
it sounds to me like there's some possibility that it sounds to me, I mean, I don't know, what would you say, Lucas? Maybe 10-15% chance he ends up in the hospital?
Yeah, I would totally agree. I'd say maybe 15% chance he ends up in the hospital, maybe 5% chance he ends up even briefly in an ICU, and then even less than that he would die from this.
I mean, okay, and I think the best case scenario is basically that he's relatively asymptomatic, but he's in quarantine for what, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, probably a couple weeks.
Okay, I mean, I don't see any scenario here that is beneficial to Trump, because even if you figure he's asymptomatic, he's in quarantine, number one, he's precluded from campaigning, but number two, and more importantly, coronavirus, I think, becomes, if not certainly a top campaign issue, which I think is the last thing that Trump needs. And I mean, now that Trump himself has coronavirus, I think a significant part of the country that thought that this is not especially serious now has to be attuned to the possibility. But what is Trump going to do now to turn around the narrative that he doesn't know how to handle this crisis?
He's out of talking points, dude.
And yeah, I don't know. Given how long he wouldn't even wear a mask, I don't know how he spins this positively.
Yeah, start wearing one now. Okay, well, what are we selling tonight, Pratik? We already sold. Let me go through my list of positions. So I sold Trump losing by 150 electoral votes. I think that went from like 10 to 17. That's some money in the pocket. I had like a shitty fringe position on Susan Collins keeping her Senate seat. I just cleared that off. That was a loss. What else are we selling tonight?
I mean, look, I think that any market having to do with Trump or the Republicans winning in November, I think it remains a good deal. I think unless something goes seriously wrong with Biden, I think he has it in the bag, and probably by a large margin.
So I should max out on Biden in Mississippi right now?
No. Well, but look, I think we do need to talk about what the likelihood is of Trump simply not running and allowing Pence to step in.
That's literally the dumbest question I've ever heard in my life, unless you're Zoltar. I wish we had Zoltar right now.
But why is it dumb?
He's not gonna step down before the election. That's the worst. Literally, that's like they're gonna have to carry him out of the White House in a box, dude. He's not just waving goodbye and going back to Trump Tower or Florida or wherever.
No, but think about it. I mean, there is a very serious prospect that Trump is going to be in major legal trouble the second that he leaves the presidency. There was already talk about him potentially stepping down to have Pence pardon him, or otherwise, if Pence wouldn't go along with that, he would have to try to test the Constitution by pardoning himself. I mean, is there a better opportunity for him to save face from an embarrassing defeat, handing it over to Pence, and then getting a pardon in a way that isn't completely shady?
Literally, you sound like one of those simps on Fox News trying to sell me a news segment that I know is fake.
What do you think, Lucas?
Oh, you're dodging the question, dude.
I think ultimately he does not step down because of this, and one of the quirks of these dropout markets is if the candidate dies, it doesn't count. I mean, the New York Times is not going to list these people as dropping out. if they pass away from COVID. That's just not how it works.
That's
So
Are you
sad.
sure about that?
I think I'm still holding no on either candidate dropping out.
Rules Cock Panthers coming in hot.
Wait,
yeah.
how do you know the dropout doesn't?
I just don't feel that the New York Times, if Trump dies from COVID, is going to list him on that resolution page as having dropped out. That's just not the word they would use.
Yeah, but that's not the rule. The rule is that the name will no longer be appearing on the New York Times list. So why wouldn't they remove him?
That's a rules change then, I think, from way back.
It says Trump will be considered to have dropped out in the event that his name appears on the New York Times list who's running. Oh, this is a poorly worded.
Under the heading dropped out, right?
Is dropped out and dropped out are different.
Yeah, there is a heading on the New York Times page that says dropped out. His name must be listed under that heading. I do not believe it would if he died of COVID. So I think ultimately people need to hold that.
Okay, but what about the second part of the rule here? Should the settlement source be unavailable, or should it appear that the settlement source has not been timely updated or is no longer being updated, predict it may, at its sole discretion, continue to await its availability or select a suitable alternative? I think predict it's going to roll out a dropout if someone dies.
Assuming the New York Times doesn't list anything.
How long have you been on this website, dude?
You don't think so?
No.
No, the New York Times will put a new heading up that says, deceased or dead or something, and then they'll put his name under it. They're not going to say he dropped out.
No, they'll just play like an Andrew WK music video of Let's Party. Holy shit. I don't even know who this person is. Someone named Bryce Selner wants to join this call. All right, do we want to see who this is? All right.
I have no idea who this is.
Neither do I. We might want to change his name. BJ. We'll call him BJ. Oh, he's gone. I literally just put it out to the boys that if they wanted to join this call, they could. I think that they would just, like I said, they would just post like a really hype music video of Trump being dead. I don't think what am I even talking about? It doesn't matter.
All right, I'm going to go on the record here and say if anyone dies, predict it's going to roll out a dropout.
Well, I'm going to go on the record here and say Lucas is smarter than the rest of us because he hasn't used his last name yet. And because of that, his career's not over for doing a podcast in bed with a shitty microphone that he doesn't own, talking about whether a president's going to die. So congratulations, Lucas. You're a hero. Pratik and I, our careers are over. It might be time to make this podcast over too.
Well, thanks for having me. Real quick before I go, I think the long-term play here is very little has changed. The markets that get skittish and run off in one direction, I think generally they will move too far for the significance of this news. Because the highest likelihood outcome is Trump gets better and this changes nothing.
All right, flight surgeon Lucas, your bedside manner is excellent. I think you have a very bright future ahead of you, curing people of ailments and keeping them from making shitty bets. We can't always fulfill that mission here, but I'm confident you'll fulfill that mission to the utmost standard of the state of Washington and Missouri.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us. It's nice to actually meet you. You'll have to come back again.
Yeah, anytime. Find some good medical issue.
Oh, I got plenty of them for you. Just you wait. One more Modelo, bro. All right.
All right, later, guys.
All right, see you, dude. Take care.
All right, look, I think for the next week or so, there is going to be a live discussion on whether or not Trump remains in the race. I think he probably will, but I don't think it's totally
wait.
question that he
I see Obama Oracle in the queue here.
Oh.
This is so dumb. Wait. This is how we had to say hi to him. Get fucked.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, what an idiot. He must be just blown the fuck out like a feral dog.
Can you hear us?
I don't know, man. You fly the flag for the boys. You don't know what you're gonna get. I guess we're on his time. We're on movie star time here, dude. Okay, well, so this is over. Life is meaningless. Jipkin's tweeting right now too. Everyone's tweeting. This is just a big night. So Pratik, you were going to say something that was actually insightful.
No, I was going to say, I think for a minimum of the next week, I think that there will be a discussion on whether or not Trump simply drops out. And I think that there's a very compelling reason for him to do so, which is simply that he was on track for a humiliating defeat anyway. And now this gives him a way of having Pence be the president and giving him a pardon in a respectable way. Now, I'm not ready to bet on that possibility, but what I am going to bet on is no matter what happens, I think that this is in the bag for Biden, assuming that he doesn't die or himself get coronavirus.
This is so stupid.
What up, Ken?
Oh, wait. Can I say it? Wait, you put yourself on mute, you idiot. Jesus. Like, the guy knows how to tweet. He knows how to talk shit. He doesn't even know how to turn his microphone on.
I'm right here, Cass.
Oh, wait. Can I practice being you? This is Obama Oracle. Or
Yeah,
Obama. How do I pronounce it correctly?
Obama Oracle.
Okay, that doesn't make sense. Wait, okay, so I'm going to pretend like I'm you for a second here, okay?
All right, bet.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Get fucked! Like a feral dog.
Feral dog was... He went on mute again.
What an idiot.
You have to get fucked like a street dog, though. Like a three-legged, rabies-infested street dog. That's what you got to get fucked like. And that's what the maggots got fucked like tonight. Gotta tell you.
Aren't you a big MAGA head?
Personally, all parties suck. That's my opinion.
So, do you think that you have more money on Trump winning than Zoltar or less?
You have to tell me at what time point are we talking?
How about like 3 hours ago?
Yeah, how about the time that matters, like right now?
So my position was, I went during the debate. I just went like maxing out every position Biden. You know what I mean?
So do you think that Trump might drop out?
I think there's a decent possibility. I wouldn't want to be Biden for sure now.
Alex thinks I'm crazy for floating the idea that Trump might drop out. I think it's a serious possibility.
Why? It doesn't make, like, he's gonna be like, Joe Biden's such a loser. Like, I'm gonna beat him from this bed. I'm gonna beat him with this fake virus from China. He's not gonna be like, oh, I'm scared, I'm sick. He's gonna be like, fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if he gets over it quick, he'll definitely try to act like he's like stronger than it, and he'll try to like unify the country over it.
But what does it mean to get over quickly? It still means he's in quarantine for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely fucks him either way in the election. But
doesn't the president make the rules about who's in quarantine and who's not? Like, he's gonna be like, well, I tested positive like a week ago. Obama Oracle, this was actually a little bit of a trap. You were supposed to come on this podcast a while ago and tell me what it feels like to be a massive cuck for losing the Kentucky Democratic primary to me. So can you just tell me that you're a huge cuck?
I'm a huge cuck for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Literal and figurative.
And yeah, and you got blown the fuck out like a three-legged dog.
Like a three-legged street dog, yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Well, you have to admit though, you weren't expecting a 3-point loss.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Booker and McGrath, were you really expecting only a 3-point win?
What makes you think I think about it that much?
See that? I think you just said your truth right there. You weren't expecting only a 3-point win. I'm like very outcome based. I'm object oriented. Pratik, we've been doing this for a while, and I think we're pretty sure that Donald Trump's not going to die. I think we're pretty sure that he's going to lose this election. I think we're pretty sure that it's probably. I bet we can wait like a day. I bet these lines will stretch out even more in the next day or so. You know, like people will panic even more. Retail traders will sell their shit. I feel like the time to buy is like maybe in 12 hours.
Look, I know you're discounting it. I think the thing we need to be thinking about is whether or not he drops out.
All right. Well, I'm discounting the fact that I have to edit this podcast and it's late as fuck. So, um, do you want to say something smart so I can say goodnight?
I think we should have Obama Oracle on for a full podcast.
Do you want to say something awesome, Obama Oracle?
All I know is I'm up like a king right now because people are panicking over Trump dying like a dog.
Where are you betting that other people are getting blown the fuck out like a three-legged street dog?
Just everywhere. And I just like maxed out like a dog in every market during the debate.
You've been slamming beers like a dog tonight, bro.
May as well.
All right. I think it's time to put a bow on this. I'm glad that we've drawn you out into the open like a three-legged street dog, Obama Oracle. We've got more good things to come for you. Pratik, I hope you're wrong.
I just want to say too that this goes to show that predicted should not go off at 4 a.m.
Wait, does it?
Yeah, every night it goes away at 4 a.m. for maintenance and repairs.
Literally, the people who invented Predicted just Googled how to make the shittiest website possible. And I think they like drew their inspiration from like a department store in the Soviet Union in like the 60s or something like that. Like, or whoever built Chernobyl. That's probably the people who built Predicted. Okay, all right. Well, fuck off Predicted. Fuck off Pratik. Obama Oracle, you're my boy. Don't get fucked like a three-legged dog. I don't think we've added any value, but don't lose any money. And Pratik will tell you how to make it. Except I disagree with him right now. Pratik, say goodnight.
Bye. Well, I'll be up, but bye.
All right. See you guys.